Yo, BD here, Tiametmarduk, and welcome back to a brand new video. I hope that didn't kill all of the headphone users that I have subscribed to my channel. We're back for another career mode video. My team, season 4. This is... what is this? Austrian Grand Prix. Yes, I remember now. I left you guys on a cliffhanger at the end of the last episode. I do apologize about that. But, it had to be done. So, if you missed the last episode, Lewis Hamilton has left the team. He doesn't want to have any further part in the journey of Marduk Motorsport, the quest to get back to the front of the grid. He wants a car that's as good as being third in the championship or better. And unfortunately, we're unable to deliver him the package that he needs. So, he's out. And we have to find a replacement halfway through the season. A very short season as well. I think 8 races to go. So, yeah, we're left with a bit of a tricky situation. We have to find a replacement. I did look at Sebastian Vettel, but I thought we've already given him a chance at Marduk Motorsport. He put up a good fight. Probably one of my strongest teammates to date, to be fair, but still not quite there. Daniel Ricciardo is a driver who I really want to get on board with the team, but I don't think the timing is right just yet, as everyone cries in the comments. But we will get Ricciardo on board, but not today. Not today. The start of next season, I promise. So that leaves the rest, the unsigned drivers, the free agents. I want to put our facilities to the test, and I want to sign an F2 driver. Unfortunately, Codemasters, being Codemasters, haven't put the 2020 F2 drivers into the driver market for some reason. So we have to choose from the 2019 F2 drivers. Top choices are probably Callum Ilott, Guan Yu Zhou, Luca Giotto, Jordan King, pretty pacey. Jack Aiken signed up at Mercedes, second in the championship. He's off the table. So the driver that I think I'm going to go for is Callum Ilott. Now, at the time, he wasn't a Ferrari reserve driver, but now he is. So I took a bit of sympathy for Callum, and I decided to get him on board at Marduk Motorsport. He's accepted our approach. We're going to go with a low-risk offer. Hopefully he can work on his contract and his perks by giving him extra money. And he is signed to the team. He is now a Marduk Motorsport driver. He's now the, I don't know, 5th or 6th driver we've had on board. I don't know. We've had a lot of drivers go on this rotating... I don't know. What's the term? You know the term that I'm talking about. Hello. There's Lewis Hamilton. He's he's jumped ship back to Mercedes. So while I was trying to think of the term, Hamilton is back at Mercedes. And the person that he's replaced is Jack Aiken. Jack Aiken, Mercedes' best chance of getting a Drivers' World Championship this season, has been kicked out. He is not signed to any team. Second in the standings, 22 points behind Max Verstappen, without a drive. What the hell is going on there? Mercedes have just completely shot themselves in the foot and are not going to win the Drivers' Championship this season unless something miraculous happens. So they got Lewis back on the team. They obviously want their golden boy back. I understand that, but you could have got rid of Bottas. He's been spanked by Jack Aiken so far this season. It makes no sense. But yeah, that's the look at the driver market at this stage. It does feel a bit odd not having Sebastian Vettel on board, but this is the last opportunity for us to test out an F2 driver, and I thought I would do that. I didn't want to poach anyone else from another team. I didn't really feel like doing that mid-season. So that's the reasoning as to why I went with Callum Ilott. And he's a really good driver. So, yeah, with the facility upgrades we've got coming in and the ones we already have, we should be able to boost his overall stats by a lot. And he should... Ilott. And he should be a front runner, hopefully, once this car is back to where it should be. But, yeah, we got a whole sway of department upgrades, the ones we did a few episodes ago. So we should have, a better swing of things for the rest of the season. We're going to have less reliability failures. We're going to have faster upgrades come in. We're going to have more resource points coming in as well. Shorter development time, more reliability with the upgrades. Like I said, I'm repeating myself at this point. But we're going to do some upgrades. A major drag reduction upgrade going on in time for the Austrian Grand Prix, which is coming up in this episode. There's a big break because we are running a reduced season. There's some gaps in the championship, and so that means there's more time, there's more downtime between races. So, you know, it really puts an emphasis on the development race to make sure you maximize that downtime between races. And I feel like we've done so. We've got a lot of upgrades coming in for this race. A few downforce. I think we did a few heading into this episode. We did some last episode is what I'm trying to say. But here's the uptake in performance. We've leapfrogged Alfa Romeo only just. We're sitting at about 780 performance points. And not too far away from the top 7 teams now in F1. They're within touching distance, I would say. So we're now at a point where, with a good strategy, we can beat these guys for sure at normal tracks. So that's something I'm massively looking forward to. And the spectacle, I would say, of this career mode is only going to go, you know, astronomically higher. So I'm looking forward to the rest of this season and then heading into season 5, where we will sign Daniel Ricciardo. No more games, no more gimmicks. We are signing Daniel Ricciardo. Start of next season, I promise you. Unless he retires. Please don't retire, Daniel. Yeah, that's the goal. Anyway, we're heading out now finally for some on-track running. It's been 7 minutes in this video, and we're finally getting out on track for Friday practice. I made a bit of a mistake with my setup. I don't know if you noticed, but the anti-roll bars and the ride height I got wrong. I think I lowered the rear stiffness too much, and I made the front anti-roll bars too stiff. Went the wrong way, and that's something I never noticed for the rest of the weekend. That's only something I noticed in editing, funnily enough. But yeah, running track practice programs, track acclimatization, qualifying pace programs. Pace looks really good, to be honest. 4.5 tenths off the fastest time all weekend, set by Daniel Ricciardo of all people. Another reason why I didn't want to sign Ricciardo is because if I chuck him in a midfield or back marker team, his confidence goes lower. So we'll test out an F2 driver. Ricciardo can continue to race at the front and have his confidence be high heading into, you know, potentially the last season of career mode, or the championship challenging season of career mode. I want him at his best. That's why I've left him out. But it's time for quali. Alright then, all of that housekeeping out of the way, and we are now delving into the important part of the weekend. It's qualifying time for the Austrian Grand Prix, and, you know, with the whole upgrade situation, with the facility upgrades we made as well, this is the first time this season that I feel like we've got a really good car under us. I'm starting to feel like the Marduk Motorsport of old is coming back. Despite lacking quite a few downforce upgrades, we're still lacking major upgrades on the front and rear, and then ultimate upgrades on the front and rear. With the drag reduction upgrades, we did 2 major ones, I think, heading into this one. It's made a considerable difference to our straight line speed. We also need to make a couple of brake upgrades, or we need to make all of the brake upgrades. But despite that, the car feels really good. It's, I can't explain it. It felt really responsive through the corners. Felt like I had more downforce than what I'd upgraded on the car, to be honest. And it gave me a lot of confidence. But as you can see, as we get to the vital parts of the weekend, the lap time isn't quite showing, or the position on the leaderboard isn't showing. This car feels very, very good. Feels like a front-running car. We're in P16 at the moment, behind our teammate, our newly graduated F2 driver, Callum Ilott. This could be a good decision in the end. He's pretty pacey. He's at least showing a little bit more promise than what Lewis did. in the first 8 races that we had him on board. But this is our final lap of the session in Q1. We bolted on a new set of tyres. We're going 0.3 faster. I had a bit of a moment through the middle sector, and as you can see, sliding the rear end through the penultimate corner, through the last one there, nearly running out wide over the track limits, and we come across the line, and we secured our spot into the next session, only just though, for both of us. P15 and 16 respectively for the teammates, and we progress through to the next session. So, not too bad. A bit of a gap though to Antoine Hubert in 14th place, 2 tenths ahead. And then Callum Island is 2 tenths behind me, so I guess I'm in a bit of a no man's land. And 2 tenths is a lot around a very short lap, that being the Austrian Grand Prix circuit here in Spielberg. We head out for Q2, and straight away I invalidate my lap heading into turn 1. I got a bit greedy on the entry phase to the corner, so that was the end of that run. There was only a used set of softs, so that was fine. We go out again at the end of the session, only doing 1 run. Because I fast-forwarded most of the way through the session before I started my first run. We lost that, and now we're going out at the end on the only new set of tyres we have left. So here we go. This is crunch time. I think I almost left the circuit there on the run into turn 3, but I guess the stewards were turning a blind eye to that one. Thank you very much. Michael Massey, fellow Australian, looking out for me there. Down into turn 4, really late under brakes, maybe a bit too late. I always feel like the rotation for me isn't the greatest at this corner, but we negotiate that pretty well. Carlos Sainz goes fastest in the McLaren. That's a team that's been relatively quiet in this career mode, I'd say. Always quietly plugging away. Maybe sometime soon they'll be able to have some glory. Certainly looking punchy this weekend, considering McLaren I think is the next team ahead of us in the performance index. Anyway, this is my Q2 run coming to an end. We come across the line, and it is not good enough to get through to Q3. However, we're only 4 tenths away from pole position. That's incredible. 4 tenths, and we're in 14th place. I'm sorry? Is this F1 Esports or what? Anyway, that was mad. So, decent position to start the race from. We've got really good pace, as we've shown. So does Carlos Sainz. That's absolutely ridiculous. So we might be able to work something pretty well into this race. We'll start on the mediums, the harder compounded tyre, and we'll run long, and we'll hopefully snipe a few guys towards the end, especially if there's a safety car. I tell you what, we're on for some good points. So, yeah, that's going to be the aim. Hopefully, Callum can have a good first race and get the confidence levels up, because we need to start retaking some places in the Constructors.
Welcome to the beautiful Styrian Mountains for another chapter in the story of the Austrian Grand Prix. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Valtteri Bottas that completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Gasly, Alexander Albon, and Leclerc, Sainz, Ocon, Kvyat, and Max Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Norris, Stroll, Day, and Hubert, Ireland, Russell, Kevin Magnussen, and Antonio Giovinazzi, De Vries, Latifi, Schumacher, and Nobuharu Matsushita. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
It's another race and another grid penalty for Max Verstappen. Always on the pace, but for some reason reliability is really holding back Red Bull at this stage. But anyway, here we are for the grid for the Austrian Grand Prix. We can actually use the 2 softer compounds for a change. So I feel like this might be the turning point for us, for Marduk Motorsport. Car is starting to feel really good. We can go for the OP strategies again, maybe, but everyone else is in a similar boat where they could probably do the same. 5 red lights, and we are underway for the second half of Season 4. And it's been an absolutely dreadful start heading down into Turn 1. My debutant teammate jumps us heading into Turn 1. He actually gets himself up into P11, so it's been a great start for Callum Island in F1. Welcome to F1, son. We're going to go around the outside of Norris and I thought I was going to go around the outside of those guys. They just dive bombed the hell out of everyone. Verstappen down in P11. That's pretty ridiculous to see, considering he is the championship leader, having an absolute shocker here in today's episode. Callum Ilott going awkwardly slow. We're going to bide our time for the time being. We've got to play the team game. He's on the soft compound tyres, so he's going to have the pace early. We're going to be playing the long game, essentially. We've got to be patient. You can see I'm being put under pressure by Antoine Hubert and George Russell as we head down into turn 1. Yeah, he goes up the inside. Jeez, it's not an overtaking corner. Believe it or not unless you are well alongside. It's a medium speed corner. It's not a low speed corner. You can't run side by side through there very well because you're losing heaps of time. I actually try to avoid moves at turn 1 because, like I said, it's a very tight corner. The only line that really works, in my opinion, is actually the outside line at turn 1, which is rather fun to do sometimes. However, we progress forward in this Grand Prix. We get past Callum Ilott, who seems to be struggling at this stage. He lost touch with the group of cars ahead, which is a shame that he doesn't have the pace. And, yeah, he was isolated without any slipstream or DRS. And we were able to get past him, but now we've made a big mistake. Out of the last corner, Antoine Hubert gets me on the straight. Here comes George Russell as well, up the inside, down into turn 1. We have to concede the position and let him go. Otherwise, we're going to lose too much time and focus on a better exit. You can see the frustration mounting there for me. But we're just going to get back on with the job. Hope that these two in front have the pace. I nearly run into my former teammate at turn 3. Hope that these guys have the pace to drive forward and catch up to the group ahead. That's my hope of getting points in this race, because it's all coming undone a little bit. Losing touch to the points runners with Callum Ilott not having the pace and then making my mistakes has just not been fun. Anyway, we run on board with George through the middle sector, and you can see hints of understeer there for me through the high-speed corners. I guess that's an area we still need to work on with this car. We need 2 major upgrades, front and rear, and then another ultimate downforce package front and rear for this car as well as all the brake upgrades and a couple of weight reduction stuff. Then we'll be closer to the money. But for the time... Oh, no, okay. I thought he was going to get me there. I just missed the apex ever so slightly. And I just had to check in replay cameras that I didn't have front wing damage because it was rather odd. I've missed the apex. This time it's my fault, as I just turned in too late. And George sneaks up the inside into the middle sector. But, yeah, there we go. Down to P15. We're going backwards in this race. Bearing in mind, the people we're racing at this stage are in very quick cars. Here's Lando down into turn 1, racing Esteban Ocon. And what's going on there? Going defensive into turn 1 is just not smart. They lost so much time there. And now they're falling into the clutches of myself, Hubert, and Russell as they battle again into turn 1, next lap onwards. And you can see they're all closing in with DRS, with slipstream. I think one of these guys has front wing damage, maybe? No, they don't. Never mind. Oh, wait, yes, they do. That is Ocon with a front right end plate missing on his wing. So that's why he's so slow, as they're all just converging on each other, and Lando can't close the deal and get past this guy. He's been overtaken by Hubert, who's been the massive winner out of everyone, as George Russell now joins the party in the Ferrari as well. But yeah, the longer this goes on, the more this invites me into the party. So long may it continue, I guess. Just don't hold me up, because we still need to get past these guys to get in the points, which is starting to look a little less likely, unless we can have an absolute flurry towards the back end of the race on the softs. And I don't know, the front runners box for hards maybe? We might be able to do something in this race. But for the time being, we've been caught up in a bit of traffic so far in this Grand Prix, and just things aren't exactly going our way, I would say. Probably lacking pace as well, I would say, as we got the inside of Lando, and that is job done. Now up at a P14, we've got Ocon up next, who, like I said, has front wing damage, so we should be able to make pretty easy work of this guy. This should be a phase of the Grand Prix where the mediums are going to phase in really well. The softs are really going to start dying off now, you would think. But here comes Lando once again. Up the inside, down into turn 1. Like I said, I hate running side by side here. Look at how much time we lost to Ocon. Yes, I made a mistake as well. That's my fault. But, you know, you get the point. We can't afford to keep squabbling like this. Anyway, we've still got 24 laps to go. I'm hoping that there's going to be a safety car that bails us out. But, yeah, it's looking tough. The Mercedes running away with this race up the front. As you can see, Valtteri Bottas, P1, Lewis Hamilton. New driver for Mercedes. Let's see how he gets on. First time for everything, as Ocon looks like he's making a pit stop into the last corner. He's actually slowed up Lando and knocked off his wing. Or Lando has just not really paid attention and just rammed into the back of Ocon. I think the latter is more of an apt description there. But Lando has lost his front right end plate on the front wing as well. The leaders are making their stops. Valtteri Bottas is in on the hard compound tyres. He rejoins 3 seconds up the road. So he will be, well, we can't do anything about Bottas. One thing we can do is, one person we can do something about is Lewis Hamilton, who rejoins behind us on the medium compound tyres. Hello, old teammate. How you going? Through the last couple of corners, rear end starting to slide around a little bit as these medium compound tyres are also starting to feel the effects of tyre wear. I'm actually surprised at how long people went into the race on softs that they qualified on. It's rather impressive. My tyre wear doesn't seem great today in comparison to those guys, as I kind of want to get up these tyres in a couple laps. So, yeah, we're managing to keep Hamilton at bay. He had a bad run through turn 1 trying to overtake us, lost a lot of time, and then Gasly made his stop and rejoined or overtook Hamilton. And now he is in the box seat to get P2 in this Austrian Grand Prix. Look at the run that the AI get in the final couple of corners. Gasly goes around the outside into the second last corner, and Hamilton is stuck behind me once again. I'm not gonna lie, I'm being slightly salty towards Hamilton. I'm keeping him behind me for the inconvenience caused of him leaving the team. What about it? I don't I'll be a thorn in his side. You want to leave my team? Well, guess what? If I encounter you on track, things aren't going to be friendly. But here we go. He gets a really good run out of turn 1. He gets a nice punchy run that he needs and finally gets past. Or does he? Looking to the inside. We go to the outside as we head into turn 3. Around the outside, the AI are not good on traction at this corner. It's been the same case all day in this Grand Prix, and it continues again with Hamilton in the Mercedes. We've out-tractioned a Mercedes on much newer tyres. That's how silly the AI are at that one corner, which is probably why we're a little more competitive than what we should be this weekend. Anyway, we're into the pit lane now. It's a completely scuffed pit entry because Hamilton was up my inside, and it just interrupted my flow, my rhythm. So, yeah, not one to write home about that one was. But it's time to serve the one and only pit stop of this race now onto the soft compound tyres. We're going to rejoin outside the top 10, which is a shame. But such is the closeness of the field, basically. It means that, you know, if things aren't going 100% your way, if you're not keeping up a really consistent race, then you're not going to be in the running for some points as we just about rejoin ahead of Ocon. But here we go. This is the phase of the Grand Prix that we've been waiting for, the part where we actually have the pace to be competitive. We've had the medium compound tyres on. We've done the contra strategy to pretty much everyone else in this field. I think I was the only person to start on the medium compound tyre. So we might be, and I say might be with a pinch of salt, uncontested for the fastest lap attempt. However, those pesky Mercedes and Red Bulls with their pace and good tyre life might have an answer in the dying laps. We'll have to wait and see. I'm really hoping there's a safety car in this race to get me in the mix. We come across the line and we punch in a 103 dead, which is the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. But honestly, guys, nothing happened. Nothing happened at all in the second stint. We get to the last lap now. Antonio Giovinazzi is retired from the Grand Prix. big whoop because he was behind me. So that's absolutely no benefit to me. Valtteri Bottas wins the Grand Prix over Lewis Hamilton. Pierre Gasly, I think, has got third. We accumulated a penalty, and that was our race. What an anticlimax.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
So yeah, that was the Grand Prix. Just lost too much time at the start, I think. Lost touch with the lead train, and that was curtains for our race, essentially.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection, a shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it.
So there we go. Bottas finally finds his form. He only had to kick out his on-form teammate Jack Aitken to get a win. Only had to have Max Verstappen get a 10-place grid penalty to get a win. And Lewis getting to grips with the Mercedes again wasn't going to be on form, especially when he had to encounter me after his first pit stop. So you're welcome, Valtteri. Anyway, Danny Kvyat actually gets on the podium. It was, I thought it was Pierre Gasly who was challenging for a podium with Lewis, but all of a sudden he lost so much ground, oddly enough. But there you go, that was the race. Max Verstappen extends his lead in the driver's standings. Alexander Albon moves up in a P2, so it's a Red Bull domination job at this stage. Valtteri Bottas has a lot of ground to make up, and Lewis Hamilton is starting from scratch now at Mercedes. That's his first point of the season. So he shoots up to 14th. He shoots up ahead of me in the driver's standings. That's a little bit depressing, I'm not going to lie. However, we're going to fight back. We were only 4 tenths away from pole today, and we ended up where we did. Like, that's how close and how competitive this field is in Season 4 of Career Mode. A couple more upgrades. I swear, just a couple more upgrades, and we are really in the fight with the top 7 teams. Today, I felt like we got unlucky. Maybe I should have started on the softs and kept the pressure on the top 10. Because as soon as we lost DRS, as soon as we lost Slipstream, it was game over. We couldn't make up the difference. We were too far back by the time we got on the right tire at the end of the race. So that's something to think about. But the pace is there. The progression is really ramping up. I think we've got Silverstone next. And then after that, we have Spa, possibly. So, yeah, we got some good tracks coming up. Need to upgrade the downforce. That's one thing. Brakes, we haven't even touched the braking upgrades just yet. And, of course, weight reduction. As soon as we get a few of those upgrades on, we are well and truly in the mix. And honestly, it won't take long for us to be in the mix with the top 7 teams before we start winning races. Like, it's such a fine margin. It's all going to come down to nailing the setup because all the teams are stupidly close. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. Oh, Callum Ilott started off well, didn't have a good race. Yeah, it's his first race in F1, so I'll give him that. But, yeah, we're assuming into a team leader role for the first time in this career mode. Season 1 doesn't count when we had Mick Schumacher because I was a rookie too in Season 1. So, yeah, I've got to show him the way, and hopefully he can just pick up a few points here and there for the rest of the season and put us in a good position constructors-wise, ready for Season 5. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about the lengthy break between episodes. I had some top secret filming this week, which took up a couple of days, but that's over now, and I'll try and get out this series as much as I can because I wanna knock off as many seasons as I can. I want to do Season 4. I want to do Season 5. I want to do like an iRacing season. I want to do a classic F1 career mode season. You know, we've only got a limited amount of time before the new F1 game will come out. I've got a lot of things in the pipeline that I want to get out. And if I want to get all of it out, I need to upload more. I know. Anyway, cheers for watching, and I'll see you next time.